What's approaching the supreme moment, reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead.
Hey, what's up? Alright, so let's talk about the upcoming Extreme Z battle for the Ultimate Gohan, which is the Super Intelligence type. You know, it is scheduled to start on July 12th at 5 p.m. That's JP time, so depending on where you live, there are going to be time zone differences. But, you know, for me, it's going to be Eastern U.S. time zone, so I guess it'll be on, like 4 a.m. on that Thursday morning. So just kind of want to briefly talk about the, team builds and what to expect and how to go about it. Obviously, because there is going to be the Majin Buu banner, more than likely and almost close to 100% that it's going to require the Majin Buu Saga team to have the advantage on that Extreme Z battle event. And obviously there is going to be the, Dokkan festival for the Ultimate Gohan, as well as the Final Form Frieza. I actually held off on summoning on the Tanabata Dokkan Festival. That includes the LR Gogeta and LR Vegeta, so I may just end up summoning on this banner because, it would be, I actually don't have this guy or this guy, so I think I might be better off because, the featured list will probably be less than, typical. Like, if I remember correctly, like the featured banner list for previous, Z battle oriented units were very minimal, like maybe 4 to 5 max. So the chances of pulling one of these guys will be substantially higher than other banners. So I'm thinking about doing that, and there is going to be the Elder Kai summon banner coming up as well. So definitely going to be worthwhile to do that, but just kind of want to talk about some of the team builds and whatnot. So I'm just going to start with what my current available deck is and what I'm thinking about, what team I'm thinking about taking to the Extreme Z battle. So as you can see, it's going to be a hybrid Saiyans setup, and I'm just going to have my Ultimate Gohan lead and then have a bunch of the hybrid Saiyan units. All these guys fall into the Majin Buu Saga category, so fortunately I think I'll be able to get by without the Super Vegeta lead and just bring strictly a Majin Buu Saga team. So I mean, not much work on most of these guys, like pretty minimal, like no real, I mean, it's essentially like no dupes on most of these guys, but they're gonna be pretty useful. Now these, the intelligence, well, not intelligence, but the physical types are gonna be the ones that are probably gonna have type advantage, and I'll talk about the specifics of what I think later on. But this guy's really nice, but the ceiling SA part is probably not going to help because chances are the Extreme Z battle against Ultimate Gohan is going to be immune to both stunning and having SA sealed. But I'm pretty sure that these guys are going to have type advantage, and they're going to probably bring the most benefit to the event. So yeah, I think for me anyways, like, the Super Saiyan Gotenks and the Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks are going to be probably the heavy hitters of this team, and then the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan physical type is going to be helping out the rest of the team, since he provides that 35% increase to attack and defense. Certainly going to help out there. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to leave him in here or bring in another physical type, depending on how the setup is. Now it could be just straight up the super intelligence type that you're going to be battling throughout the whole Z battle event, but I'm not 100%. They could switch it up like the family Kamehameha, where it's like different types within. But if it is strictly against the super intelligence type, then it's obviously better to bring in pretty much all the physical type units. So let's just kind of go ahead and go through some of the units on here, and I'll go to DBZ Space here in a second just to see, but I kind of want to see what my available deck is right now. So I do have some others that are physical types, but not really enough to help out, especially considering that it has to be the Hyper Saiyans category. But I was actually thinking about including this guy instead of the Gohan unit, because as part of the passive, defense will increase by 80%, so that'll certainly help, I think, with better defending. So the Kid Goten or Goten Extreme Z Awakened can provide some benefits as well. I mean, 70% increase to defense as part of the passive, and then does the only backdraw to that is it's going to change the physical types to the rainbow orbs, so that's kind of the limitation with that. But definitely tech types are going to be at a disadvantage, I'm pretty sure, so certainly got to be wary of that one. There is an option to include that one, but since it's got to be strictly hybrid Saiyans, there's that limitation in that, and that's kind of the reason why this Goku's omitted from my team setup, is because I'm bringing pretty much a hybrid Saiyans category team. Alright, so let's kind of switch over to DBZ Space and kind of look over the details as to who all's in that team. Okay, so we're on DBZ Space, and obviously the best lead to bring is going to be the Super Vegeta, especially since he does have type advantage, and he's also going to be able to counter like crazy. So he's also got the power creep, passive skill where it'll increase up to 100% based on every time he does get attacked. So this is probably going to be the best unit to have, and for those that have him, obviously it's going to be advantageous. But for those that don't, I'm pretty sure that you guys are going to take the same approach that I'm going to take and just go with a hybrid Saiyan setup. Now there are like other units that you could bring on here. Let's see, let's kind of just go through the list a little bit. So we all know that the physical types are going to have have the advantage, like LR. LR Vegeta, Majin Vegeta is obviously going to be a decent one, but I don't know how much he's going to hit for, because having that type advantage with the physical against physical type units are going to have the type advantage against the super intelligence Gohan. So not quite sure how much he's going to hit, but I'm sure he can help out a decent amount. This is the technically free-to-play physical type Majin Vegeta. Now he could certainly help out a little bit too. He does have the ability to increase attack by up to 90% based on every time he gets attacked, and it goes up by 30% each time, so you could quickly get up to that 90%. Now he also, every time he attacks, his defense will go up by 30% up to 120, so this guy could definitely help out quite a bit in terms of both defending and attacking, so probably a decent option there. The Extreme Z Awakened Goku, I'm sure will be fine as well, just not quite sure with the neutral type situation how much the damage output will actually be. Now you do have the option of bringing these Buu type units, especially the physical types. Just not sure how the links are going to be, but even if the links aren't that great, this guy could actually help the overall team, because the passive is, if HP is over 80%, attack and defense will increase by 50% for the rest of the team. So nice little boost there, but not quite sure how often you'll be able to maintain the HP above 80%. So you do have the option of bringing this guy as well, instead of the Ultimate Gohan strength type. So I mean, certainly an option there to bring that unit as well. A little bit obsolete right now, but who knows. Now Vegeta would be nice to help out the rest of the team with this passive of 30% increase to attack, but it's going to be type disadvantage, so not quite sure if that's a good idea or not. Again, this guy could be a decent unit too. Attack will increase by 100% when SA is launched, and links are going to be pretty straightforward with everybody if you are bringing in pretty much strictly Super Saiyan related type team. So I mean, there are several units on here that you could certainly bring. I would definitely recommend, if you do have this guy, to bring him against the Z Battle event, because the passive alone will provide a lot of advantages. Like 35% increase to attack and defense is definitely going to help out a lot. Links are pretty much straightforward too. I mean, he's got all the typical Saiyan links, so not really going to struggle with that, I don't think. Now, this guy is also an option too, just to bring to help out the rest of the team, because 40% increase to attack and defense and +3 ki is certainly going to be a good option to have. So he might not necessarily be the best unit to take in terms of firepower itself, but helping out the overall team, he could certainly be an option. I do have this guy at 100%, and it's pretty much the only reason why I'm taking these guys is because they're going to be able to hit a lot for me. So, SA, after SA launch, attack increase of 100%. So, if you have additional attacks and criticals, certainly going to help there. So, definitely a good idea to bring that unit. I mean, this guy could also be decent if you do have him. He does have the ability to, increase attack over 3 turns, when SA is launched. So attack increase of 90% as well as part of the passive. So pretty decent unit overall. Yeah, he could certainly help out. This guy, obviously, for various reasons, going to be very helpful to bring, especially if you do have this unit with decent work in the potential system. Yeah, I mean, 120% increase attack at the start, and after the start of the turn for 7 turns, attack's going to be up by 60%. Defense is obviously going to be a little bit worrisome with the 30% drop, but this guy's going to be able to provide a lot of damage. So I think it'll be definitely one of the best units to bring on here. Now, there is an option to bring the Super Vegeta unit, agility type, if you don't have the Super Vegeta unit, depending on what type of team setups you're thinking about bringing. But even on a hybrid Saiyans team, like, even if he doesn't have the category stat boost, like, you could technically bring him in and just have him counter it. Now, it's a hell of a risk to take, because you're chancing this guy being supered on, and that's pretty much an instant KO. So something to think about, but also be very cautious about. Now, this guy can definitely be included on here if you wish to include him on. Let's take a look at the passive. So let's take a look. At the start of the turn, +3 ki attack and defense, flat increase of 7,000. Yeah, I mean, he could be a decent option. Just not quite sure how helpful he will be. He does have type advantage, so he's going to be better than any of the other Super Saiyan 3s, I'm sure. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, you obviously have the option to bring in this LR version as well, if you do have them. Definitely a very good unit because of the attack and defense increase of 120% as part of the passive. So just not quite sure how hard they're actually going to hit, given that the ones that do have the advantage are going to be physical types, but certainly can bring that setup, and I'm sure it'll be fine. But just kind of want to briefly cover the available units within this category for the Extreme Z battle coming up with the Ultimate Gohan units. So yeah, just like I said, just wanted to cover very briefly of certain team builds that you might want to go with. I'm looking through here and see if a villain type team setup can be made. Just having the Super Vegeta lead and then just bringing like the villain types, but I'm not quite sure if there's enough to where it's going to be a viable option. It looks like you're better off going with a super type setup, because they're a little bit limited in terms of villains. Obviously, Majin Buu is really the only villain that's going to be included on this category. So I think for me personally, my biggest contributors to the damage are going to be the Super Saiyan 3 and Super Saiyan Gotenks units. And bringing in a couple of support units like the Sword Gohan and the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan is going to help out a lot. So just take a look at what you got within your deck, and then start thinking about how to go about it. All right, so hopefully this kind of clarified things a little bit. So certainly appreciate you watching, and stay tuned for next time.